Marcel wins here.
Other than Rd.5. Look at these two go.
He's going to do it. His first victory.
The World Championship is done.
What a race it's been.
Video to roll through. So we'll go to that now. We'll step away and we'll be back in just a moment. It is a warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Formula SimRacing Academy Championship. As the rounds roll forward to mark the halfway point of this season, the drivers are in full swing and fully aware of the stakes at hand, as well as the mammoth task that awaits them. We are moments away from diving into today's action. We have to apologise for the minor technical difficulties that have taken place before today's broadcast, but we think we've got it all sorted out. Qualifying is over. It was considerably, relative to how long this lap is, 3 minutes long, Edward, it was really, really close. So I think we're in store for a pretty good race today.
Yes, absolutely. It was lots of really big surprises up there in the order with Netrex and Liam Howard on pole position, of course, which was a big surprise. And Liam Howard really needs to get his championship underway, third in the standings, but way adrift of Lianos and, of course, George Zalagianis, who I don't want to say the runaway leader, but certainly looks in a very, very strong position. The only man with 2 wins to his name so far this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's seeming pretty dominant on the side of Zalagianis, and well, what is to be expected from a driver who is able to fare his own against some of the likes of the pro people. But as we said very correctly, today marks the halfway point of the season. So, excuses away. It's not, oh, it's early days in the season. We can brush off a couple of bad races. No, it is time to knuckle down and get going, because yeah, only 5 rounds to go after today. And so what is a shorter season than we saw last year, which was 12 rounds. So each round is just that little bit more important. So you can't be affording to have too many bad rounds.
Absolutely, Zach, and it punishes mistakes, but it rewards excellence as well, and that's exactly what we want to see from the Academy Championship.
Absolutely. So, yeah, as we said, qualifying is done and dusted. So we will go to the grid order. It was NetRex's Liam Howard that took pole position ahead of Musadis in P2. George Alagianis, last week's race winner, in P3, with Snet Vangers alongside in 4th. Then comes Scott Flack for Super Genturi, rounding off the top 5. Then comes Luke Jack in P6 for Royal Blue. Silviera in P7, with Bosley Bukout for Team Iris in 8th. Looking down to the rest of the top 10 and beyond, Loic Monya P9 with Giannis Lianos in P10. That's not going to be the best day in the office for the Ground Effect SimRacing driver. Dylan Platt P11 with Dave Brantham in P12 for Valet Esports. P13 goes to Peter Vagapov. P3 last time out in Silverstone, only managing P13 today. Jingel P14 with Dylan Hember P15. Dmitry Zarahov in P16 for today's race. Garabatala P17 with Matthias Harvik in P18. Thomas Andriami Arisoa in P19 with Kilhausvik in P20. With, as we say, a very, very close qualifying indeed. Guillaume Mass in P21, Fabrice Morlato 22nd, with Garnier P23, Savaniak in P24. A very large grid today for the Academy race. Alex Salos rounds off P25 with Taylor Lane, his teammate, in 26th, alongside another Valet esports driver of Nunez, P27, with Nandor Marsa in 28th place. Two more drivers rounding off the back row of the grid was Fabrice Mistral and Thomas Smith, 29th and 30th, respectfully. As we said, a very, very large grid. And well, that could only promote carnage, chaos, the whole lot, really, I would imagine, around Le Mans today.
Absolutely, Zach. And a big shout out to Musadis, of course, did Silverstone as independent, very nearly beat Peter Vagabov to the final podium position. He starts on the front row today. Him and Liam Howe will be very interesting to watch as they fight against Zalagianis in this opening stint.
Absolutely. Well, as the drivers are now rounding themselves on to the starting grid after taking the very long and grueling formation lap here at Le Mans, which is to be expected. It is a rather long circuit. Liam Howard is on the soft. Zalagianis, the only man inside the top 5 to take the brunt of the medium tyres early on, but everyone is lined up. We're waiting for the 5 red lights to come on and mark the start of round number 5 here for the 2022 Formula Sim Racing Academy Championship. Liam Howard, he's going to be looking for a fantastic result today, try and make amends for some pretty misfortunate races as of late. And we are underway and racing as they head towards the Dunlop curb. A fantastic start from Zalagianis, who's already alongside Liam Howard as they go through Dunlop, maybe 3 abreast. He's swapped to the softs very late on. A fantastic start from the Ground Effect SimRacing driver to get himself into the lead, but he's gone in deep towards the Dunlop chicane, has to cut across. He's kept the position, a lot of carnage further back. That's someone spinning off. Is that Silviera getting in contact? He's side by side with Loic Moynier as they go through, but a very chaotic start, and that is to be expected.
I think there might have been Bukout spinning out there. It was definitely one of the Iris cars, Zach.
Yeah, certainly so. And well, that is going to be a very unfortunate way to start this race. And yeah, you can see Wesley Bukout there trailing at the back. He's going to try and pick his way through. But here comes Liam Howard with the slipstream already pulling alongside Zalagianis as they run down the first part of the Mulsanne straight. Liam Howard has got the inside line. Can Zalagianis leave him to dry all the way around the outside? Is going to be able to tuck in front. Snet Vanger's trying to put some pressure on Musadis as well as they go through the first part of the Mulsanne chicanes. And then as they go down the second part, Liam Howard once more in the slipstream, in that toe, being sucked along. And is he going to be able to eye up a move against Zalagianis down in towards the second chicane?
Yeah, and of course, Zalagianis still on the medium, so he didn't actually switch. That must have been a little graphical error there, but that's been rectified. So Liam Howard on the softs needs to attack now while the iron's hot, while he's got the tyre advantage. But behind, look at them, they're going 2 and 3 wide in places here as Harvig attempts to attack Vagabov.
Yeah, absolutely. And Harvey's been sent around. That's Garabatala going with him. That is such a shame for those two. Very easily done. And I think Harvick has managed to get going again. But with the large grid on lap 1 spinning around, you're going to lose a lot of places. And no, in fact, Harvick didn't get away smoothly and has to trail at the back of the grid. But yeah, 30 drivers are on the field today. So, you know, spinning on lap 1, you're going to lose all of those places. But Zalagianis still leads. We're going to take a look at how this transpired. On board with Havik, you can see Bavagapov going side by side as they go in. He sees an open gap, breaks a little bit too late, goes in a bit too deep, and then gets tagged from behind, in fact, a little bit distracted. And yeah, just look at all the cars, look at the melee he has to avoid. He's just sat there waiting for an opportunity to come back onto the circuit.
Brave stuff by Batala, actually, right behind Vagapov. He gets into the braking zone, almost tries to go for another move so late on Harvig. Harvig doesn't see him coming, and that was a bit over-ambitious, in my opinion. There's Liam Howard takes the lead.
Indeed, so he's managed to get the lead, and commandingly so by 0.7 of a second. You can bet that Zalagianis is going to try and keep him honest, but remember, it is a long circuit. Those medium tyres are going to be over the course of a lap, and someone's gone round. That is very, very close. Zalagianis tapping the wall as they go through the Porsche curves, and yeah, those medium tyres are going to be demanding a lot of grip that, well, through those corners, yeah, you can't expect to have. And as they now go through the final set of chicanes, that Vanga's going to try and put a bit of pressure on, and well, it's 2 Netrexes versus the 1 ground effect, and I think that's what Netrex are going to try and exaggerate. They want to isolate Zalagianis and let him know that he's all by himself.
Yeah, but it was an absolutely fantastic getaway off the line on the start by Zalagianis. Completely caught Howard and Mercedes out. Mercedes is, of course, now down to 4th as Snetvanger's in. So, like you say, Netrex taking advantage. Are we going to see a replay here of Howard of that very beginning? There we go. Zalagianis sweeping around the outside. Howard had to tuck in, and look at the lead he had on the medium. So he just judged the getaway, slipped the clutch absolutely at the right moment. But behind, as you say, here's Lianos. He had an awful start, fell to 25th position. Here he is on the outside of the Iris, coming into that first chicane. What happens here? Oh, he just gets pushed wide by the Valet and the Iris, and then spun around with Book out.
That is harsh. That is very, very harsh. That's something that arguably wasn't his fault, but that is racing. We're on board with the Iris car, Wesley Book out, going through. Everyone's just trying to funnel their way through. There's a Netrex on his left. Didn't see that one coming. Did well to save it, and then, yeah, around he goes. Which, yeah, these Formula cars very dependent on the perfect conditions. Any changes to the airflow, and well, they are going to go around pretty surely. But Zalagianis all by himself now. Liam Howard all by himself. 1.7 seconds clear. Snetvanger's going to try and put some pressure on Mercedes as they go in towards the second of the Mulsanne chicanes. Or in fact, this is going to be the first of the Mulsanne chicanes. Looking to the inside, going to try and get it, but unfortunately, is going to have to tuck in behind. Same with Silviera on his advance on Dylan Platt just in front. But that is the thing. That's the slipstream, as we see Smits making some really good progress from towards the back of the grid. Already up.
He was at the very back.
The very back of the grid, making some fantastic progress. And well, that is the straights. You can use that slipstream. You can just slingshot past people, but very, very easy, as we're going to see now. Is who's this off? This is Snetvanger's off. Coming off of this is the Mulsanne corner. And yeah, again, an easy mistake to make, but very fine margins here at Le Mans.
Yes, and that mistake by Snetfangers lets Loic Moynier in the Iris up to 4th. So him and Dylan Platt have done well to stay out of trouble, as here comes Silviera trying to attack Platt once more round the outside as they approach Indianapolis.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be the long way around. It's going to be a tricky task, but yeah, Dylan Platt just going to tuck in behind and say, okay, fair enough. Yeah, you're going to be more committed. One of us has to back out, and with a long race, well, I say long race, only 14 laps, but around Le Mans, that is, yeah, that is still a pretty long race to get through. So you've got to think long game, but just look at this train we've got for P6. A good, you know, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in this train for 6th place. There is going to be, it's reminiscent of a kart race. Everyone just nose to tail, fighting really, really hard, and that's what Le Mans is. It's just you can sit in the slipstream and you can do your thing, and yeah, strategy is going to play a massive factor with it though in terms of fuel and tyres. But yeah, we'll have to see how that one transpires. But you know, it's FSR. Strategy always plays a factor, and there's always going to be some abnormal strategy to play a factor with it as well.
Indeed, and look at Scott Flack has got the unenviable position of being in a valet sandwich here. Here we go, through to the 4th chicane. And Flack is all over the back of Brantholm, looking to get back up into the top 9. And Flack, who started quite high up the grid in like 5th or 6th, has now fallen down to 10th position. So the Super Venturi driver needs to get a move on here. And he had some decent results in the past couple of races, so he needs to keep that momentum up, keep getting the points. And first up in his schedule, I guess, is to clear Brantholm and then attack Luxac in the Royal Blue.
Going to try his best, and well, he's got a long Mulsanne straight in order to do it as they wind their way through the S's and then towards Tetra Rouge. He's going to be just got to get that exit. It's all about that momentum, starting this straight on the highest foot possible and just zooming down this back straight as best you can. You can see everyone in a conga line. One moves, everyone moves. A bit of push to pass for Brantham as he starts his offense on Luchak in front. Peter Vagapov as well, a driver who is proven very, very quick, but again, just knocked off the rhythm. And because everyone's got the slipstream, you've got to try and find your way through just the hard way, which is just late under brakes. You can see Peter Vagapov trying to do that, and around goes Scott Flack. His misfortunes have just turned even worse. Managed to save it, kept it out of the barrier, but again, he might lose touch of that slipstream range, which is what is so crucial. 3 abreast now, the fight for P6. Luchak just about staying ahead. Here comes Dylan Platt. He's on the outside of Daryl Brantham as they go in towards the left-hander. He's going to be on the long way round. How late can he break? Bit of contact between the two, but very committed, very nice, and up into 7th place.
Yeah, great opportunism there by Luxak. Musadis has now overtaken Zalagianis down the Mulsanne Straight and is now chasing after Liam Howard for the lead. The gap, 2.8 seconds, but Howard really in control at the moment, and that's exactly what he needs to do right now.
Absolutely, the pressure of leading a race around Le Mans is not only mental but also physical, because people are going to put that pressure on you if you're not careful, if you don't escape that slipstream range. But he's done exactly that. 4 seconds clear. Musadis isn't going to get a whiff of it at the moment, so he's doing his own thing. Just got to keep it consistent, just got to stay on it, stay on the ball, and push forward. Brantham on the back of his valet teammate of Silviera just in front, going to look to the inside, does so. Very harsh start as they go in towards Indianapolis, but again, just has to back out there. Pretty much everyone inside this train are on the mediums highs, so equal pegging. Here's Wesley Bukout trying to make amends for some misfortune earlier on and going to try and clear Alex Hallows as they run side by side in towards Indianapolis. He's going to be the long way round, and a pretty damn good move as they go towards Arnage.
Yeah, that's what we've come to expect from Wesley Bukout. Oh, big lockup by Hallows, actually. He's not happy about being overtaken at all. And right behind him is Lianos. Remember, both Bukout and Lianos spun at the beginning, so they've made some excellent progress to get back up to 17th and 19th from near the very, very back, as they were at the beginning of the first lap. So there's still points on offer here for Lianos and Bukout. The championship's not completely done yet, but they've certainly got it all to do, and every car they clear is going to be absolutely crucial at this stage.
Absolutely. We said at the start how you cannot be missing, just can't be off the ball at all for a single race. You've got to maximize your point score, not only because it's the halfway mark and you've got to press forward, as you see Lianos eyeing up a move, not quite going to be able to go for it in towards the penultimate chicane. However, yeah, in a 10-round season, each round accounts for a higher percentage of the total points. So you've got to be on it week in, week out. Speaking of Liam Howard, thinking he was a little bit more comfortable, Musadis has just taken out a 1.5-second gap, and around goes. This is Alex Hallows. Unfortunately, no, it's Hember going round, unfortunately, off the exit of the final chicane. And yeah, that is an unfortunate mistake. But yeah, Musadis seems quick against Liam Howard.
Yeah, and Fabrice Mistral is the first to pit for Royal Blue, down in 25th position. So I wonder if there might be a bit more of an issue there for the competition driver. Sorry, it's not Royal Blue. My mistake there. But the Valets continuing to fight each other for 8th, 9th, and 10th, which I don't think is wise. I think they should work together here. And I think Vagapov really wants to clear his teammates pronto, because he's got Scott Flack right behind him now.
Absolutely. He seems that he's got the pace, and a bit of a mistake from Silviera going to hinder their exit. It's going to put Vagapov on the front foot. Silviera going defensive. Vagapov practically pushing them down the second part of the Mulsanne Straight, and he's going to be on the outside. How late can he break? Peter Vagapov is no stranger to some fantastic moves, but look at how powerful that slingshot is, just allowing to propel his way through and up into 9th place. But yeah, of the 3 valet cars, it seems like Vagapov has got the pace advantage over his teammates, but yeah, as you say, it's not wise. They're all on the arguably alternate strategy and fighting each other. It's only going to slow them down. It's only going to, tarnish their races in the long run. So probably wise to just back it off a little bit. And of course, they don't want to violate the golden rule of motorsport, which is don't hit your teammate.
Indeed, the golden cars, the golden rule in full effect here. But Moynier has cleared Zalagianis for 3rd now. So I saw Musadis using a little bit of push to pass to defend from him, which I thought was really interesting. What is the strategy here from George Zalagianis now on the mediums? Is it just to run as long as he can and pit for the softs later on? Surely that's what he's doing here, Zach.
That's got to be what he's doing. But yeah, it would be interesting because his pace isn't particularly too bad. he is sort of being swallowed up. Moinho, a big lock-up as they go through Arnage, but manages to carry on going. But yeah, for Zalagianis, as the Valley boys once again fighting again in towards Arnage. Vagapov going to put his teammate on the back foot, gets the drive off the corner, able to accelerate, using a bit of push to pass as well. They only get 60 seconds over the course of the race, but he's using it in full effect now and up into 8th place. 4 seconds to Luchak just in front, but he's going to want to press on and get away from his teammate and the pressure from Scott Flagg and Kilhausvik in 11th and 12th. But yeah, Zalagianis, he's in a bit of an awkward situation here, but he's got to stay patient. He's got to remember that this race is going to come back to him towards the end when he's on those soft tires, and he's got the pace advantage over everyone else.
Yeah, I'll tell you who has also impressed me, Dylan Platt in the TR Motorsports machine as Silviera retires. So that's one just after being passed by his 2 teammates. So Silviera, in the gravel.
That is a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. He's lost it at Porsche Curve, Zach.
That is, again, an easy mistake to make. He's been tagged round, in fact, at the Porsche Curves, and just look at that, complete passenger, and yeah, that is his race over. But yeah, there's no margin for absolutely anything, and just got accelerated into the back.
That was Scott Flagg.
Yeah, Scott Flagg just straight into the back. Maybe Silviera taking a more cautious line through. Scott Flagg wasn't anticipating it, and just straight into the back. Around he goes, and that is race over for him, which is a big shit for both of them. Yeah, Scott Flagg as well is retired. Muzeidis, though, 1.8 behind Liam Howard. He's closing that gap slowly but surely.
Yeah, Muzeidis very, very nearly actually got pole position until Liam Howard put absolute stormer of a lap in right at the end of the session in qualifying. So Muzeidis more than a match for Liam Howard, and he's going to give him a lot of trouble, especially the pit stops are going to be absolutely crucial here. I'd be very surprised if Muzeidis makes the move on track, but with the rate he's closing, Liam Howard can't feel as comfortable as he did a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that pressure is going to pile on and start building for the Netrex driver, but Muzeidis has been using a lot of push to pass. We've seen that graphic pop up quite often. He's got a limited amount, and around a track like this, you've got to be on it. Here's Luchak looking to get the move done on Dylan Platt as they ride side by side. Luchak has got the soft compound tyre and the slingshot in order to get in front before the left-hander here for the second Mulsanne chicane, and Luchak up into 6th place. But yeah, Muzeidis using a lot of push to pass. That's going to allow Liam Howard in order to at least maintain that position, maybe even fight back if need be. Dylan Platt going to try and launch a counter-attack on his medium tyres as they run towards the Mulsanne corner. Luchak covering it off very nicely. Dylan Platt doesn't want to send the move and probably realizes that it's not wise to fight. And this is Lianos, the Ground Effect Sim Racing driver who was 2nd place last time out, 1st place the week before. He's without a front wing and well and truly out of contention for this race, and it was just a very clumsy mistake into the barrier.
Yeah, pushing too hard to recover, really. Got on the throttle a bit too early. The front wing lodged into the barriers there, and Lianos will continue, but certainly that's not going to help his race at all as Dylan Platt continues to fight with Grzyek Luksak for 6th position, because he's still getting the slipstream, even though he's on the mediums, right behind that Royal Blue, and look at that into Indianapolis and Arnold braking at the last possible moment there, the TR car. But
absolutely. He's trying, and that slipstream, it's so powerful that even despite they are on the medium tyres, they can still put even into the Porsche curves. Luchak is having to look in his mirrors and cover off a move, but not wise for Platt to put any pressure on. And yeah, it's very close, but look at Muzeidis, half a second between himself and Liam Howard. No DRS in effect because, well, it's Le Mans, you don't need it, but he certainly closed that gap and well and truly in the slipstream range. I would expect, hopefully, for a move to be manufacturing relatively soon, and in fact is into the race if our graphics don't deceive us. And yeah, because Liam Howard is into the pit lane. This is an early stop. Is he going to play dividends?
It's early, but we'll lap 6 out of 14 just before the halfway point as Platt is going all over the place trying to get past Luksak. But yeah, this is absolutely crucial now because his outlap has got to be spot on as Howard switches to the medium tyres.
Absolutely. So Muzeidis, these are crucial moments for him in this race to just press on, use those soft tyres, whatever little grip they might have left, to use them and to push, because Liam Howard has got some fresh tyres, and I say clean air. He's been passed by Dmitry Zarov and Mass, potentially even Andrea Mierisoa as well. But he just needs some clear air and just push while those medium tyres are fresh in order to retain that lead. And Muzeidis has got to use whatever little grip he's got. But Liam Howard, it's a similar story to Silverstone in that he looked really, really good, but we got to the second stint and it all came unraveled for him. So hopefully he doesn't suffer a similar fate today, and he's going to try and clear Mass and his teammate Dmitry Zarahov in good fashion, hopefully for him.
But what's happening up front is Muzeidis is setting 27.6 fastest first sector of the race now that Liam Howard is out of the way. So Howard, he's got to hope he can get slipstream off of Mass and Zaharov ahead of him. But the problem, these two fight each other. then it's going to be a rerun of Silverstone. Howard will have nowhere to go.
Potentially so, that could be the case, and of course he doesn't want to bring Andremi Arisoa and Gagne into the mix either, losing a bit of push to pass in order to clear these drivers in front. He's got Dmitry Zarahov, his teammate, which you would hope would at least not put up too much of a battle for him, but yeah, they're going to run 3 abreast potentially. Liam Howard looking to go to the middle, at the very least, he's going to try and get past Mas, going to try and follow Dmitry Zarahov through. It's going to be a massive send, bit of contact, he sent Dmitry Zarahov round. Liam Howard, that's a clumsy mistake, unfortunately, and he might be under pressure from Mas, but I fear for our pole sitter it's going to be Silverstone Part 2.
Well, I worry that the stewards might not take a pretty dim view of that. Of course, Zarov, teammate of Musadis, who has just joined the valet team, as there we go, Mas gets back through in the TR car. But yeah, that was not ideal for Liam Howard at all, and I think Musadis will be licking his lips if he hears about this.
Yeah, he certainly will be. He'll be loving this, and that is the benefit of staying out 1 lap longer. Yes, your tyres might be a little bit worse for wear, but you avoid the traffic, you avoid the carnage that is the trains that are forming today amongst the grid, and that's what Musadis, Moynier, Zalagianis especially will be absolutely loving to hear. While, yes, you don't wish misfortune on anyone, you certainly don't complain when it happens to them, but Liam Howard, he cannot let it affect him too much. Just got to press forward, do what he needs to do. If he gets a penalty after the race, so be it, but for now, still got 8 laps left to go, still a lot to play for. Press on, get on with it, and don't let it affect you too much.
Yeah, and now he's cleared Masses. Oh, Harvick has a bit of a moment coming through Arnage. But now that he's cleared Mass, he's got quite a lot of clean air in front of him. But we're going to see a replay of that move into... this is what happened to Harvick then.
Yeah, indeed. In the slipstream and fighting for P16 as they go through. He's side by side with Wesley Buchout. Wesley looking to the right-hand side. This is on the run down towards the Porsche. Or is it the run towards Indy? This is the run towards Indy. So Wesley Buchout is ahead. I'm guessing Harvick just gets a little bit too late on the brakes. No, potentially there's a lock-up in front. Indeed, that allows Wesley to have a little bit of a look. Harvick wants to get involved in the action, and yeah, just braking too late for Arnage. And yeah, hits him one, nearly hits him again. I'd say he got pretty lucky with that affair to not take out either of those two drivers.
Yeah, just thank goodness they all got through okay as Moynier makes his pit stops, as does Kilhausvik, Zarov, and Buchout.
Yeah, indeed. So everyone coming in pretty much around the same point. Musadis and Zalagianis press on for yet another lap, but Gagne gets in front of Snetvangers just about. But you can hope that Snetvangers is going to try and press on and get back in front as soon as possible. But look, Moynier driving a pretty quiet race, was I think a net P3 before Liam Howard come into the pit lane. So doing a great job of that and trying to press on in this race. Snetvangers iron up and move on Gagne fairly quickly into their stint, but running side by side, pretty level pegging between the two drivers. Gagne on the inside. Snetvangers going to use a bit of push to pass in order to propel himself. He has got to go the long way round, but in order for him to fight for the podium, he needs to clear this driver pretty quickly. Going to go the long way round. Bit of contact again, and they're both into the barrier. Well, one of them is, I think Gagne just got away with it, but well, I mean, that's probably the Le Mans setup you want to run no rear wing, but I don't think it's going to be particularly quick on this occasion.
Oh, that's such a shame for Snetvangers. 2 big errors in this race really have cost him, because that error at the beginning when he was running ahead of Zalagianis put him behind him, and now after coming out the pits, he was fighting just a bit too hard there with Jean-Michel Garnier. And I think he could have got him coming into the second chicane, but he needed to get him pronto. Like you say, Garnier was on the inside. And there just wasn't space here, was there?
Yeah, that really was just... I think Gagne went a little bit too hot, took too much of the track away from Snetvangers on the outside. Obviously, that curb on the inside will unsettle the car a little bit, but okay, I'd just say it probably is just a racing incident. This is the fight for the podium, though. Grichy Gluchak versus Dylan Platt as they run down in towards Indianapolis. Gluchak having to be very cautious of what the TR powered by Geeks Energy car is doing behind him. And of course, Peter Vagapov is pressing forward against these guys in his Valet eSports car. They're fighting for a provisional podium. Of course, when they all come into the pit lane, it might not be where they stand, but still, you want to pick up these places. Dylan Platt looking to the right-hand side. It's going to be a very, very tough ask as they go towards the Porsche curves. Luckily for him, he's got the dominant line, but Luchak going to try and sail around the outside, use the straight line speed of that Royal Blue car. And as they go through the Porsche curves, it is all about momentum. It's all about setting that exit up as they run towards the 4 chicanes. But Dylan Platt, for now at least, is going to have to settle in behind. But you have to wonder, those medium tyres must be in better shape than those softs.
Exactly, and the more Platt and Luxak fight, the more it plays into the hands of Peter Vagapov, of course. He wants another podium here as in comes Luxak.
In he comes. Yeah, those soft tyres probably have seen better days. Musadis, though, it's still pushing on, still gapping Zalagianis as well. So Musadis impressed us last time out. He's certainly impressing us once again in terms of his tyre management. And yeah, he's doing a great, still fit independent as well, unless he's been picked up by another team.
Well, he's in the valet livery, which would
valet
suggest
livery,
he's a valet driver. As Liam Howard sets the fastest lap of the race, so now he's got that clear air. He is absolutely flying out there, 2:59.0. So
2.5 seconds quicker.
Exactly, yeah. So Liam Howard back in. He's just got back in the pit window because he fell out of it when he got in that incident with the valet driver and with oh, look how busy it is in the pit lane as Harvard gets into his slot.
Absolutely, now coming in to stop, but Liam Howard doing the job. That's what exactly he needed to do, was just press on, not let it affect him too much, and hope that he can get himself back into this race, which is exactly what he has done. This is Dylan Platt versus Peter Vagapov as they run down in towards the first of the two Mulsanne chicanes for the valet car. Peter Vagapov on the inside. Dylan Platt going to have to go the long way round and is ahead before the corner, claims the corner, and Peter Vagapov going to have to settle in. But don't forget that slipstream down towards the second chicane is going to be mighty. He's going to have to follow him. He's tucked up in the slipstream, going to try and use maybe a bit of push to pass, pulls to the inside. The left-hand side is going to be the dominant line. Is Dylan Platt going to be able to leave him to dry, or is the valet car going to get himself back onto that provisional podium? Vagapov using a bit of push to pass. It's to no avail though. Pulls back out. He just hits a brick wall. You have to stay so tucked up in that slipstream. You're gaining. You pull out and it's just a brick wall that your advance just stops.
Yeah, and very impressive and intelligent driving by both of them, but especially Dylan Platt, as here comes Bukout and Zarov. Oh, Zarov just backs out into the first chicane in time, and Wesley Bukout stays 12th.
Just about, but Vagapov and Dylan Platt once again going side by side. This is one towards Mulsanne. Bit of a lock up from the valet car, pushing Dylan Platt a little bit wide. Nothing in that though. Dylan Platt going to lose a bit of momentum though. That's going to be costly as they run down towards Indy and Arnage. Vagapov breaking the toe, darting to the right hand side in order to limit the amount of air he's pushing out the way for the TR powered car. But Dylan Platt still giving him a really good fight for his money. And yeah, just look at that power. Look at the power of the slipstream as they run in towards Indianapolis, already on the back of him, despite that mistake in towards Mulsanne.
Yeah, certainly. Dylan Platt has put in a superb drive. Remember, he's always the one who seems to go on the hard tyres, and this is what he does when he goes for the mediums instead. It would seem. Certainly, he seems to be going a lot better than usual at this Circuit de la Sarthe circuit, and there's good big points on offer for the TR Motorsport team. So Dylan Platt needs to bring it home, even if he can't quite overcome Vagapov for the podium, which I'm sure he would desperately want here, because Liam Howard and Brandfum are going to be catching them quite soon. As here we go, this is Zarov, having another go at Bukout into Indianapolis.
Oh, again, thought about it as they went under brakes for Indianapolis, but I think Zarov's just going to have to settle in for the time being. And yeah, that's the thing. You always set yourself milestones as a driver, as Musadis finally comes into the pit lane. Zalagianis as well. Musadis, he's going to be coming in for the medium. Zalagianis going in for the soft. So you'd have to expect that Zalagianis has got the advantage at this point, but never count Musadis out. He's pretty damn quick when he gets onto a good set of tyres and some clear air, as we've just seen. There's Liam Howard, all contact in the pit lane, though. That's Zalagianis. Who did he make contact with? Is that Brandthon? No, that's Vagapov, who was running such a good race. And, well, to the absolute delight of Dylan Platt, who now doesn't have to fight as hard. Vagapov has just lost out a lot of time there.
Yeah, let's hope there wasn't damage to Zalagianis' car either. But yeah, Vagapov was coming into his pit box, and then just let's go on board and see what happened here, Zach, as he comes in. Oh, just about getting in through the Maison Blanche and into the pit lane without kicking anything. But here we go. This is where it goes wrong, isn't it, Zach?
It is indeed. So you can see Zalagianis about to pull out of his pit box. Vagapov just wants to come in, and yeah, 2 into 1 doesn't go, and unfortunately, yeah, that's how it is. That's how the cookie crumbles at some time, and yeah, that's what you get when you allow contact in the pit lane. I suppose people are gonna be prone to making these mistakes, but yeah, we've seen, because of how long the Circuit de la Sarthe is, it really does open it up, because everyone's gonna pit around a similar point, you'd expect, because it's not like you can just save a little bit more, because saving a little bit more is saving a lot more.
Indeed, and I really hope Zalagianis doesn't get a penalty for making contact in the pit lane there. Like you say, they were warned about this pre-race with the pit entry, that you can be unsighted. But another man lighting up the timing screens is, funnily enough, Lianos, after his incident earlier here on. Here he goes past Mistral, who's pit very early as well. But Lianos, I think he set the fastest lap of the race earlier. I'm not sure if he still has it, but here he goes on the inside up the first chicane. I don't think there's much that Fabrice Mistral can really do here, but he's still there on the outside, and Lianos makes it through up into only 19th place though, so still lots of work to do for Giannis Lianos.
Yeah, bittersweet moment for him, I would say. His pace has been sensational, his consistency, and of course his racecraft, as we have just seen there. But Lady Luck doesn't always swing your way, unfortunately, and that's how it goes. It is racing. As much as you love it, doesn't always love you back. But Dylan Platt pressing on, leading the way. Liam Howard is closing him down at a rate of knots, though. Dylan Platt still owes us a pit stop, so Liam Howard is our effective race leader. It must be said, and Loic Mounier and Muzelis have to try and chase after him, close him back down. So Liam Howard has done a fantastic job to retain that net race lead, despite what happened as he come into the pit lane. He's done a sensational job with the pace that he's shown, and yeah, his pace still quicker than Loic Mounier at the moment, only by a tenth of a second on that last lap, mind you, but still doing a great job, and has certainly deservedly so in terms of his consistency and his composure to just knock that mistake off and press on with it to be in the position he is in now.
Yeah, we just got to hope that contact with the valet, it doesn't come back to bite Liam Howard post-races. Into the pits comes Dylan Platt. First time we've seen him leading in Academy, it must be said. So Dylan Platt will be hoping to have a monster stint on the soft tyres, as will Zalagianis. Vagapov, meanwhile, lighting up the timing screens down in 9th. He's set a 70.2, fastest middle sector of the race. So he's driving angry, certainly, is Peter Vagapov, after what happened in the pit lane.
Absolutely. Peter Vagapov is a driver that is no stranger to comeback drives, and he's going to be trying to do that to the best of his ability. This is Muzelis on the back of Loic Mounier, the fight for second place. Muzelis has got some sensational pace in that valet car, and he is going to be wanting to show it, but to do that, he needs to get past Mounier, break free of Mounier, and then chase after Liam Howard, the Netrex driver that leads the way and had done so from pole position. Mounier, a little bit wide out of Tetra Rouge. That's going to open the door for Muzelis to try and launch an attack. The Team Iris car going defensive. Muzelis going to go for the dummy, find some space on the inside. Just look at how bumpy it is out there, though. Not quite going to be able to find the space. Mounier able to defend to the right-hand side. Muzelis just going to have to tuck in. It depends how late Muzelis can be under brakes, though. He's going to go for it in towards the first chicane. Going to have to back out of it, though. Mounier certainly under pressure. Muzelis going to have a second opportunity down in towards the second chicane. Let's just have a look at how strong this can be. Are either going to use that push to pass, but this is the fight for P2 and a fight that Muzelis is going to want done sooner rather than later. To the left-hand side, they're going to run side by side, pretty equal pegging between the Team Iris and the Team Valet car. Muzelis has got the inside line, arguably the favorable line as they go through, but Mounier going to go all the way around the outside, keeps him honest and stays in second place for now.
And this is really critical for Muzelis because Zalagianis on the soft tyres is only about 5 seconds down the road. So he needs to clear the Iris pronto. He's on the outside, and Mounier, stoutly defending, is not going to let him for easy, is he, Zach?
Absolutely not, but he might have to. He might be forced into as they go towards the Mulsanne corner. Muzelis on the outside. Mounier claiming the inside. Muzelis going to have to tuck in. Bit of a snap, though, from Mounier. That's going to open the door potentially down in towards Indianapolis. Muzelis needs to get this done, but as you say, a valiant defense from Loic Mounier to defend P2. Here comes the Team Valet car to the right-hand side. Going to probably, you'd assume, absolutely sail past, and indeed does so. You can see Mounier having to tuck into the slipstream, but we've seen how powerful it is. He might not be over yet, and indeed it's not. It's going to be the outside for the first part, that right-hand kink, but into the left. Unfortunately, he cannot get back up in front. So Muzelis 4.8 to Liam Howard in front. He needs to break free of the toe from Loic Mounier first, but I'm sure that's going to be no problem for it, especially because Mounier's struggling on that rear end.
Yeah, Mounier hit 2 laps earlier than Muzelis, so he undercut him, but now the tyre delta is in advantage of Muzelis in his valet car. It is the other valet of Brandholm trying to go up the inside of Kilhausvik into Arnage. Oh, that was very, very close there, wasn't it?
Just about managing to skate their way through with no contact, but Kilhausvik doing a great job. If I'm not mistaken, they weren't inside the top 10 for qualifying, so doing a great job to be in P8 as they are now, and that alternate strategy really proving dividends, perhaps. I mean, Zalagianis not really making much headway on those soft compound tyres, it must be said, but at least in the midfield, amongst the midfield, it seems to be working for a good number of people, but yeah, it's a shame for Zalagianis, but hey, you can't win them all. And even on his bad day here at Le Mans, even if he settles for P4, that's still a fantastic result in what is so far a pretty dominant affair in the championship for him.
Indeed, with Lianos down in 19th, it's only really Howard who's going to be gaining on him. But the man who's really making the soft tyres work for him right now is Vagapov, because he's cleared Brandholm and Kilhausvik, and he's closing on Dylan Platt ahead. There he is. So Vagapov using all that anger, 2 minutes 57.2 that last lap, a purple first sector, as Muzelis actually sets a purple final sector, so he's not given up on catching Liam Howard either. We're set up for a grandstand finish, aren't we, Zach?
I think so. The laps are ticking down, but still a long way to go in this race. Lap 11 of 14 around, I think, an 8-kilometer circuit is the Circuit de la Sarthe, if I'm not mistaken. It's something around that point. But 3.6 seconds, that gap is coming down, and it's coming down quickly. That last lap over a second quicker for Musetis, a 58.7 for him, and a 59.8 for Liam Howard. So that gap is closing, and it is closing quickly. Musetis is driving with fire in his heart, and with only a few laps to go, he's got to close that gap as best as possible. Yeah, we certainly we haven't been deprived of action at all around the Circuit de la Sarthe today.
And you're correct, Zach. It's 8.5 miles or 13.6 kilometers to the Circuit de la Sarthe. So great memory there.
I got the memory right. I got the number right. Just didn't quite get the unit. So
that's okay. We know what you meant. As Liam Howard uses push to pass, already he is starting to look just a little bit vulnerable, but gets a few temps on Musetis because of that. And here comes Brandholm on Kilhausvik once again. Both on push to pass. Oh, they wheel bang as they approach the second chicane, and they hit again. Oh, thankfully they don't spin round on this occasion, but Brandholm finally gets that 8th position. Kilhausvik was not letting him for easy at whatsoever.
Really had to work for it, didn't he? As they say over in the States, rubbing his racing, and they certainly proved it there. Just about getting away with it, I would say. Kilhausvik, though, he's going to maybe launch a counter-attack. Looking to the inside in towards this King Cats. A dart to the left-hand side at the last moment, though. Brandholm certainly still under pressure. Kilhausvik wants that 8th place, but a bit of a snap of oversteer might put him on the back foot as they run towards Indianapolis and then towards Arnage. But yeah, Brandholm certainly had to work for that 8th place, and 5 seconds to Peter Vagapov up in front. I'd say it's unlikely he can catch, but never ever say never. But the Royal Blue, that slipstream is absolutely mega. He is so slippery in a straight line. He's going to look to which side does he want to go. It's going to be the outside for the King. It's going to be the inside for Indianapolis, but couldn't quite decide where to go. Brandholm parking that car perfectly in defense there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kilhausvik sort of weighing up his options and then deciding not to go for it there. But certainly, like you say, that Royal Blue slipping in a straight line. Does that look like Mass in the background or someone being lapped? I think it's Harvey moving out of the way in the background. Sorry. So no problem there.
Hopefully, we have had now 8 DNFs from this race, and just goes to show how challenging, how demanding this circuit is. But just look how fast these Porsche curves are and how close the walls are. It's not like modern circuits where you've got an abundance of tarmac runoff. I say that as they go through there. There is quite an abundance of tarmac runoff, but you catch my drift for most of the lap. It is very, very challenging. There's very little margin for error, so you do have to be on it lap after lap after lap, and that's why it's earned its prestige as the home of endurance racing, as the start of endurance racing as well, it could be argued. But as we focus on the action, Thomas Smith on the back of Dmitry Zarahov as they run in towards the final set of chicanes. The Thomas Smith started 30th on the grid, or on the back row of the grid, and is now fighting for P13, and that will be a couple of points to his tally if he can get ahead of the valet driver of Dmitry Zarahov as they run through Dunlop and towards the Dunlop chicane. Can he do it?
Yeah, it's certainly been a solid drive by Smith so far, and he's putting a lot of pressure on Zaharov. I'm just looking at the gap up front between Musetis and Howard, which is fluctuating. Musetis a little bit slower, 4 tenths slower than Howard in the first sector on this lap, but he was a whole second faster on the last lap, so 2.2 the gap at the moment. But Howard, I think, is just about getting back on terms. He has been on those tyres quite a while longer, a few laps longer than Musetis. So Musetis pitting later might just start to go in his favour at the end of the race. It's a bit hard to tell, though, as Moynier continues to hold off Zalagianis, who's only about 2 seconds behind him now.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, Musetis doing a fantastic job. Late on the brakes goes Thomas Smith, nearly into the back of Dmitry Zarahov there as they run through the first chicane. But, yeah, Musetis overall is driving very, very quickly. But, as you say, the Liam Howard's tyres are going to hit a cliff far sooner than Musetis is. And around such a long circuit, having poor tyres really is going to tarnish you, especially through the demanding corners such as the Porsche curves in Indianapolis, etc. This is Thomas Smith riding on board, looking backwards with Dmitry Zarahov as they run in towards the second chicane. Thomas Smith, very, very punchy under brakes, looking for a way through, practically pushing Zarahov through that chicane as they exit and through the kink towards the Mulsanne corner. It is a pretty good overtaking opportunity if you have got to run. Very difficult to go for a send without locking up, but Thomas Smith is only for 13th place. Does he want to risk it and fight as if it's the race lead? You'd presume not.
Yeah, it's the difference between 7 points and 8, isn't it? So I think Smith wants those 8 points here, and Zarov is going to have to fight to keep them. Smith goes to the inside as they approach Indianapolis. Has he got the run, Zach?
He might well do. Oh, very close to contact between the two. Zarahov just might have to tuck in. Smith using a bit of that push to pass. They've got a bit of gap up to Wesley Book out in front, so it might just have to be it for them lot. But Zarahov going to go the long way around for the first part of Indy. Bit of contact, but he's still going to stick his nose in there. Thomas Smith has to give way. Going to go for the under and over. Get the drive off Indy as the short run towards Arnage. It's going to be the long way round for the 7 Hours RM car. Both of them going deep, but Zarahov stays in front for now.
These guys are fighting like world championships at stake, not just an extra point here. But Smith, once again goes on to the dirty stuff. But has he got the momentum to carry him all the way around the outside of the Valet? And the 7 Arrows is still there as they approach the Porsche curves.
Great mutual respect between the two. Smith gone in a little bit deep. That might put him off a little bit as they go through the rest of these very fast-paced corners. Through the left, then through the right. Then you chuck it left once more and try not to extend, as Zarahov very nearly did. But just look at the pace Smith has over him, already clear of the Valet car. And he was really just a sleeping giant. Tucked up there, couldn't quite find a way through. But once he is gone.
Yeah, a lapse difference on those soft tire life there, as a Howard is continuing to be closed in upon by Musadis. He's set to 27.5, 2 tenths faster in the first sector on this lap. Last lap, he was, again, almost about 8 tenths faster, I think. Howard continues to be under real pressure, and no DRS, of course, so it's not like it's going to make too big a difference once he gets within a second, but the slipstream will be very much to his advantage as Luxak and Platt continue their race-long battle into the first chicane, Zach.
Indeed they do. Luchak going to try and get the drive off the corner. It will be a last lap showdown, presumably between Musadis and Howard. The laps run down, the time dwindles, and Musadis' opportunities run thinner, but we have to wait and see. This is Luchak on the back, fighting for the top 5. Pulls out late to the left-hand side. It'll be the inside for the second chicane. Dylan Platt is going to keep him honest. He is still alongside. How late can he brake, though, as he gets the squeeze from Luchak going in? He's going to try and set up a good exit, you have to presume, through the right. Get that power down, planting your right foot to the floor. And it's a decent run towards the Mulsanne corner, so he's got a bit of an opportunity with slipstream, but that gap, just eyeballing it on the left-hand side between Musadis and Howard. But still, there's a lot to look at. The fight for the top 5, very late by Dylan Platt to pull out to the right-hand side there, just trying to put some pressure on and feel that rearview mirror of Luchak in front.
Yeah, and Platt has got the tyre advantage here, so Luxak's done very well to slipstream past him. But of course, Platt was the last to pit, and he's on the softer tyres, so he needs to clear Luxak before Peter Vagapov, who's still showing some pretty fearsome pace out there, starts challenging the both of them for 5th place. Oh, and here they go, side by side once again. But Platt ahead now as they approach Indianapolis.
And it is very, very close between these guys. We're seeing a lot of feisty action. A lot of it maybe a little bit over the edge, but hey, it's racing, and they're fighting for around one of the most prestigious circuits in the world. They want to do well around a circuit like Le Mans, but yeah, still fighting, still going at it, and giving us plenty of action for everyone at home, which I hope you are enjoying. Liam Howard, he's got 1 lap left to negotiate. He's got the pressure of Musadis, who is in shot. You can see very, very close. Liam Howard's going to know that he's going to start to feel that pressure, but he's got 13 kilometers, give or take, left in this race. He's been leading pretty much from start to finish. He's had his misfortunes, but he hasn't really looked backwards. He's stayed composed, stayed on it. But Musadis, he's going to be fighting for that. He's going to be fighting for that maiden victory here in ACA.
Yeah, I don't think Liam Howard has an Academy victory to his name yet either. Well, he's certainly got a pole position now. But yeah, as you say, he just has to hold on for this final lap here, Liam Howard. And how much would it mean to him, not just for his championship, but for him as a driver to win here at Le Mans? It would be such a big deal. But now Musadis, half a second behind the new challenger, the man who's surprised everyone with that amazing performance at Silverstone, putting in another one here today. And Musadis could be a real thorn in the side. Oh, look through a Tetra Rouge, where no, I'm thinking of yeah, it was Tetra Rouge just going through, where Liam Howard just got so wide. And that could let Musadis get into the slipstream. Indeed, it does. Here we go, Zach, into the first chicane.
Here he goes. He is eyeing up the move. Look at the slingshot pulling to the right-hand side. Musadis doesn't even need the push to pass. He's going to go down the inside for the race lead. Scares Liam Howard, who has to turn out of the corner. But once again, that slipstream going to be vital. Liam Howard is not going to give this one up easy. You would presume both push to pass. The final lap of this race, round 5 of the 2022 Formula Sim Racing Academy Championship. Both fighting for their maiden victories. Liam Howard on pole position, but Musadis has been an absolute menace in this race. Towards the second chicane, and Liam Howard, his opportunities for a decent overtake certainly are dwindling. That NetRex car usually is really good in a straight line. Zalagianis and Mounier fighting as well for the final podium place. Mounier does it just about for now. Zalagianis having to tuck in, push to pass once more from Liam Howard, but I think it's set in stone. This is Muzetis' race to lose. Zarov, Smith, and I think this is Battler fighting for 13th place as well. And there's a lot going on. Final lap showdown here for round 5.
Everyone saved their push to pass right to the end. Here we go. Zalagianis on his much fresher tyres having another go at Loic Mounier through the Mulsanne corner. But once again, he can't quite get on song with the Iris. Mounier is holding on to that third place for dear life. But I think Howard, with that one mistake through Tetra Rouge, has lost the lead to Muzetis. Muzetis got the run. He's not looking back. And he, again, pitting later has really worked out for Muzetis. But here comes Zalagianis on the outside as they approach Indianapolis.
Here he goes. It's going to be the long way round. He's going to give it a bit of wheel banging as they go through. Who's going to be later on the brakes? It's going to be Mounier, who has a bit of a lock-up as they now go towards Arjun Zalagianis, the championship leader, sent it into the barrier on the final lap. He's going to lose that P4. Liam Howard very close to the back of Muzetis as they go towards the Porsche curves as well. There's a lot going on. Liam Howard all over the rear end of the Team Valet car, both for that maiden victory. The lap less than a third of it to go. They're fighting the final lap. 14 laps has led up to this. Liam Howard has given absolutely everything to try and break the pressure of Muzetis, who on a final lap charge is probably going to try and secure victory here for round 5. But that is such a shame for Zalagianis, who now just has to nurse at home. A couple more corners for Muzetis to go, but he's being practically pushed around by the NetRex driver. It's going to be very, very close. But on the run to the line, it's going to be a drag race. Liam Howard a bit of it scrilly, but it's going to be Muzetis who takes the victory here. Pretty much almost a photo finish between him and Liam Howard. A fantastic battle between two, and there could only be one. Loic Mounier rounds off the podium. A fantastic battle with Zalagianis, Dylan Platt P4, with Luchak running off the top 5. Peter Vagabov, a fantastic race despite their misfortunes, and Zalagianis P9 on a day that could have been P4 or P3 in the championship. Probably won't affect him, but get to those later rounds, he'll be looking back on these moments, wishing that he didn't lose these pointers on the run to the line. I think that's Andrea Miarisoa going deep, and that's going to allow Bukow into P11, but we certainly were treated there.
Yeah, there we go. And Smith is not giving up either on trying to get Batala, but he's going to fall just short in the Severin Arrows car. So a good drive of Smith from the very back to 14th. And a Bukow doing similarly after spinning on the first lap, getting up to 11th by the end. But what a terrible day for ground effect, with Zalagianis making that late mistake and binning P4. He'll have to be content with P9, provided he doesn't get an extra penalty for that Vagapov incident in the pit lane. But wow, Muzetis, look at this man. Comes in at Silverstone, finishes P4, and now his first win in the championship. Valet have signed a real star on their hands.
Absolutely. He's shown just incredible both pace and composure and consistency, the perfect ingredients for a brilliant champion. He's probably joined a little bit too late to be a real contender in the championship, but he's certainly proven to the teams and made a name for himself in only the 2 rounds he's been here. After 14 laps of racing, it was Muzetis who took the win ahead of Liam Howard. Very, very close between the two. Loic Mounier rounding off the podium with Dylan Platt and Luchak P4 and 5 respectively. Peter Vagapov P6 with Dado Branthon P7. Gil Hausvik P8 with our championship leader Zalagianis down in P9 after a last lap mistake off the exit of Indianapolis. Guillaume Mas in rounding off the top 10. Looking a little bit further down, Wesley Bukow P11 with Andrea Miarisoa P12. Both of them fighting to the line on that final lap as well. Garrett Battler P13. Thomas Smith and Dmitry Zarahov fighting with him on that final lap for 14th and 15th. Giannis Leanos P16. Tagged round on that first lap though, so did well to recover to around about the midpoint of the field. Dylan Hember P17 with Matthias Harvik P18. Gagne P19 with Jingle rounding off the top 20 of our drivers today. And I think that was everyone that finished, if I'm not mistaken. We have a look at the rest, but yeah, I think that was pretty much everyone that finished. We lost a lot of people today. Looking at the championship standings, Zalagianis still has firm grip over Liam Howard, who now promotes himself into second place after Lianos' misfortunes today, but only separated by 1 point, and at the halfway mark of the season, still it's still a relatively long way to go, but they're certainly going to be walking out of the forest as opposed to in.
Indeed, look down in 8th at Muzetis, only been in 2 rounds, 18 and 30 points. He's got 48 in total now, so I don't think we can completely rule Muzetis out. But certainly Liam Howard has launched himself right back into contention, with Peter Vagapov not too far behind either. So certainly ground effect the grip on the title has lessened ever so slightly in the hands of Selagianis, especially after that mistake today, which you really can't afford to do too many of those, because Liam Howard is going to take every opportunity he can get from now on.
Well, absolutely. Well, pressure makes diamonds. So, Ground Effect couldn't have it completely easy. And yeah, the dominance streak has ended, but you can bet that they're going to be back on it for round 6, which will take place in 2 weeks' time on the 15th of May, which is certainly going to be one to look forward to. And then I think a bit of a 3-week gap, or 4-week gap, in fact, to round 7. Then we take a break between round 7 and 8. But yeah, there's still a long way to go, halfway mark, and I hope everyone at home has enjoyed. Edwards, it really was a good race. Personally, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, but there was everything: chaos, drama, excitement, and well, the race leaders couldn't be separated by much more in the end, or much less in the end, really, could they?
Yeah, 0.156, that was the gap, so just under 0.2 of a second. So you could not really ask for more, but what a fantastic performance by all of the top 4, really. Mercedes, Howard, Moyer, Platt, no mistakes from any of those guys, really. Oh, well, a little one from Howard, maybe, arguably, but such fine margins. That's what the race decides the race. That's what decides the championship, isn't it, Zach?
Absolutely. Well, before we round off, we are going to say a massive thank you to our broadcasting partners of VCO Esports, as well as returning sponsors of Mesita Esports, SimLab, and 3D Wrap. A massive thank you to them for supporting Formula Sim Racing. And well, the action doesn't stop here with the Academy Championship. The pros will be taking to the track in a few moments' time. Then a little bit later on, Yuno Leary and Lewis McGlade will be talking through the World Championship race in a couple of hours' time. So certainly stay tuned for that. On behalf of Edward Hunter, thank you very, very much for watching. I've been Zach Sweeney, of course, joined alongside by Edward Hunter. We've had Cameron Rogers behind the scenes, pushing buttons and giving the broadcast for today. We hope you have enjoyed at home. Enjoy your next 2 weeks. Enjoy the rest of the night, and we'll see you in a little while. Bye-bye.